I'm Brittany Rizzo, and welcome back to My Only Friends. On today's episode, I sat down with Danielle Larracuente. Danielle landed her first commercial at only 4 years old and has had an ongoing success in modeling and acting for over 2 decades. Becoming a Broadway star at only 9 years old, Danielle was cast as young Nala in The Lion King on Broadway in 2009, which led to many opportunities. Now the rising star makes her mark on Amazon's Bosch legacy and can be seen in the Jennifer Lopez film This Is Me Now. This episode reminds me of the Friends episode, the one where Rachel smokes. Joey competes with Ross's son Ben for a commercial. We see how it affects Ross and Joey's friendship and the competitive side of acting. However, Ben is oblivious to it all, just being a kid. Danielle and I talk about how being a child actor affected her and how she looks out for her son now as a young actor. Danielle is a big ball of energy and an absolute sweetheart, and I hope you enjoy my conversation with her. Here is Danielle Larracuente. Yeah, girl, it's audio only. That way I can show up at
I
this too.
literally had it in my schedule for 3:00, but so this is what happened. I was in Chicago and my Google Calendar, who's so kind to me, decided to move all it. So when I came back to LA, it pushed everything 3 hours ahead. So I've been messed up for weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why I just realized it moved to 3:30.
I mean, that's the story of my life. I've literally looked at my calendar and my girlfriend was over and we were making plans. And I was like, no, that's a Thursday, and realized that I didn't change the entire month. So I had been in the wrong month. I do that. I never know what day it is, I swear.
Oh
I have
my
like
God.
20 things. Like I have my notes app, my calendar on the wall, my Google calendar, and I still will have to check things like 500 times because I'm like, I don't know.
It's like
I
a
don't know when it
known
is.
thing for me. I'm like, they're like, oh, how do you survive? How do you just Google Calendar?
What were you doing in Chicago?
I just finished, it just aired already, so I can talk about it. I just filmed Chicago Med. So I was in an episode of that.
Congrats. That's
And
amazing.
I was really excited. Everyone was so lovely on set. And I played someone who was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Big
How is
old
that?
belly. It was awesome.
Well, you have a kid, correct?
I do. So it was kind of surreal because I was looking in the mirror and I was like, oh my God. Like literally cravings were coming back. I was asking people for peanut butter like randomly. I was like,
That's
oh
so
God,
funny.
my
Placebo
mind
effect. Pregnant belly suit. That's really funny.
It's crazy.
Oh man. Well, it's good to see you again.
Yes, you too. I'm so excited. Sorry it took me a minute to get back to those questions. I've been doing press and then I've been working like crazy.
Oh
So
gosh, you're fine. We'll talk about it all here.
yeah.
So we briefly met at Lucy Walsh's book event.
Yes.
And I was thinking about that today. I was like, wow, I could not have been like, that is like the best icebreaker to meet somebody, because I was so tired and so hungry. And I was also like, I am the world's pickiest eater. So when the chicken fiasco happened, I was like, people here are really either going to be like, this girl's insane, or like respect, because I'm known to like pick apart food in general. Like,
Oh my God.
literally the other night I was out at dinner and my friend was like, it looked like a tornado hit your plate, but I just am so picky. So when I kept looking at you like, how's your chicken? How's your chicken? I was like, okay, we're in this together.
So I'm the opposite. I literally inhale food and then like, what did I eat? So my friend Ashley, you know Ashley,
Yeah.
leaned over and was like, stop eating. And I was like, what? What's going on?
It's like, it's not cooked. Stop eating. You're gonna die.
Yeah, you're gonna die. Stop eating. And I was like, oh, I was wondering why it was so chewy.
Oh
I
my
inhale,
God.
like my boyfriend says the same thing. He's like, no one's gonna take food from you. I was
That
like, I
is
grew up with 3
so
brothers.
funny. That's so funny, because I'm complete opposite, where like my friends will literally not order because they know they're gonna end up with half of my food.
Wow. So you're like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that.
It's just I'm weird with like texture, and then I'm convinced it's not cooked all the way, which, you know,
Oh, that must have
sometimes.
scarred you.
Oh, it did. I was like, I can't eat. I think I went to the grocery store at like 10 o'clock at night and I got a pizza and ate pizza in the bathtub.
That's amazing.
So funny.
That's
So
amazing.
first I want to know, I mean, right off the bat, I'm like 9 years old. You've been doing this since you were 9 years old. And what was the moment? Where are you from originally? New York?
New York. Yeah, New
Okay.
York. Mhm.
So you're 9 years old, and then you're like, "Okay, I'm on Broadway now." Like, what happened?
So, I would say that I maybe was a lucky one in a sense of like I was bitten by the acting bug. Like my whole family was not, they're not in the industry. Like most of them are all in law enforcement or law or something like that. Very like I had no access to it, but I
Mhm.
would see like things on TV or modeling, or I was constantly putting on shows or like talking to myself in the mirror, like reciting lines. I mean, I'm like, this is as early as 3 years old. I
Mhm.
put on shows for my mom and, like, all this stuff. So they initially started me in beauty pageants because I was kinda more accessible, and a lot of kids did that back then when it came to dance and whatever. So I
Mhm.
did that for a while, which then turned over, there was a talent agency that discovered me and was like, "Oh my god," I think we were in the mall, and she was like, "You should come and do commercials." Got into that. My first commercial was Snuggles, so then I did commercials for a while, print commercials. Um, I went to a summer camp that was, like, really it's I forgot what it's they're gonna kill me. Times Square something, and it was, like, a really well-known summer camp, and I went there for, like, 2 summers in a row, and they taught you dance, da, 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 all this stuff, so it kinda gave you the in because Times Square, where all the Broadway shows are,
Right.
kinda gave you the in to, like, try out for these Broadway shows. So, I tried out for The Lion King and, at 9, and literally I don't know how they do it now, but back then, it was literally like American Idol. Like,
Really?
there were I think we went through 50 auditions. It was insane, like, how many times are you gonna see me do the same thing?
Right.
It was insane, like, let's see this person, let's see that person, and then they put us through a summer camp. I went through a summer camp, I think it was, like, 2.5 weeks of,
When you
like, the
booked it?
before.
Oh,
So it was like the
jeez.
fine it was insane, it was like the
Yeah.
final 10 kids, and it was the girl they're looking for the young Simba and the young Nala, so it was like 5 and 5, and, like, we did this whole summer camp, and my mom's, like, not into the industry, a nervous wreck, and, like, she talks about all the time, she's always like, "You literally kept just giving me magazines," like, "Mom, it's fine. Mom, just take me here." Like, she would, like, try to quit for me. She'd be like, "Do we really
Mm,
have to go?" Because we lived in Westchester at the time, so we had to, like, drive down to the city every day to do this summer camp. She's like, "Do we have to?" And I'm like, "Mom, just drive. Just get me there, and it'll be
yeah.
fine." So, yeah, so I beat everybody out, and I booked the job, but I don't think I understood the magnitude. I was just having so much fun that
Yeah.
I still even I think for years after, it was like, "Oh, it was just really fun." I didn't realize now as an adult, I'm like, "Oh, shit, that was Broadway."
Yeah,
Right?
that's so funny. That's what I was gonna ask. Like, I have that written down. Like, did you realize how amazing this was, or only now looking back are you like, wait a second, like I've been on Broadway. Like that's
Right,
people strive their whole life
right.
to get there, and you're like, I did that 20 years ago.
Right, exactly. No, for sure, like, I mean, I wouldn't say that I didn't know, I just thought it was so amazing because it was so much fun.
Right,
But not in a
right.
sense of, like, the fame or the accomplishment of it.
Hmm.
Nowadays, I'm like, "Yeah, that's crazy."
Yeah.
One of my goals is to bookend, do a lot more TV, a lot more movies, but I do wanna go back and play Big Nala
Hmm.
for maybe just 6 months, maybe not the whole year, but just to, like,
Yeah.
kinda put a bookend to it because it's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Theater
Yeah.
is
But
so much
it's
work.
also a good reminder to like carry that with you as an adult too. Like you're just doing it because you love it and it's fun. It's not about anything else other than that.
And I really like that you said that because, you know, when I came out here for TV and film, but I was like in my teens and I was growing and maturing and I went through a lot.
Hmm.
You know, I think 2020 really did, in a sense, help the entertainment community because we learned to be a little more compassionate for
Hmm.
others and learn that, like, the whole, needing to include, like, that wasn't a thing back then.
Right.
So I was just forced into this box of you're too Hispanic, you're not Hispanic enough, you're too overweight, you're too curvy, you need to lose weight, you need to stuff your boobs, you need, push your boobs
Mm.
down, you need to change your last name. I mean, I went by a whole different last name for so long because they didn't want to show that I was Hispanic. So, like, going through that as a 13, 14, 15-year-old girl,
Mm.
the message that it was giving me, like, I hated what I was doing. I was like, "I don't even wanna do this anymore." It's, like, horrible.
Yeah.
So, I quit for many years, and, after I had my son, I mean, I did so many other careers and I just wasn't happy, and I was like, "Well, how am I gonna teach this boy, like, listen, no matter what, don't let anybody stop you from your dreams. This is what you love. What other people say or what, whatever, that shouldn't stop you. And then I was allowing that, right?
Mhm.
So, right after I had my son, I got back into it and just been kind of going ever since.
Yeah. So I read that you went to cosmetology school, and so did I.
Did you?
And yeah,
Where'd you go?
I went to cosmetology school in Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
And so I was reading about that and I'm like, well, first of all, I mean, yes, I could imagine going through all of that as a young kid. Like even just me going through it in my mid 20s till now of like, who am I in this industry? And like being told what you are instead of learning it for yourself can be very, it just like stunts you as a person and you have like
Uh-huh.
this identity crisis. So
Mm,
I'm sorry that that was your experience.
mhm.
When would you say you felt like you finally started like going out for the roles that you identified with the most?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you, I think it was an internal thing. It was when I
Mhm.
kind of figured it out for myself, everything else started landing.
Right.
And it was a lot of things I went through. Like when I made the decision, okay, I'm gonna go back into acting and I know what's ahead of me, and I also have a child that I have to support. I started lining everything up. And this is what I tell a lot of actors. You want to do this, it's all possible for everybody. There's a lot of work and there's a lot of different aspects you got to put into place. And I feel like a lot of people have frustrations
Mhm.
in the field because they're like, well, it's not happening for me. I'm like, well, are you doing, there's a lot of work that you have to do as well. So for me, I was like, I need to be financially stable. So I got myself in a position to have a bunch of different side hustles that no matter what, if I wasn't booking, money was coming in. So then I X'd that out. Then I was like, I haven't been in the game in 6 years. I need to get into a scene study. So put myself into acting class. Then I was like, I need to make sure all my pictures are right. I need to do this and that. I need to get a good team behind me that really believed in me. I mean, I literally was banging down doors and doors and doors, and everybody was like, "You haven't worked in 6 years.
Mhm.
The last thing you did, you're on camera like, you're 15, like,
Mhm.
you have nobody would take a chance." I mean, I think it was, like, the 7th interview, and I
Mhm.
literally was like, "I'm gonna be this, and I'm gonna be that, and da da da, and
Mhm.
are you on the dream or whatever?" And she was straight up she's still with me today. She's like, "I believe in you." And,
Oh.
so they stuck by me, my manager and my agent, and, little by little, small roles, whatever, and I was just trying we were literally throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck,
Mhm.
and, I think what started to shift for me where I was like people would ask me, like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, I act here and there or whatever, or
Yeah.
maybe I'm an actress," and I'm like, the minute I was like, "I'm an actor,"
Right.
it, like, changed.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, like, there was no question about it, and I started feeling more confident in the
Yeah.
auditions, and then it started coming back to me.
Yeah.
So, that's what I would say. It was literally an inner monologue that I had to, like, figure out for myself and get and put my ducks in a row.
Yeah. I love that you said that because for a while, I was the same way. I wouldn't you would just be like, "Oh, I work here and I'm also like I'm acting," and you like kind of minimize it because you're not where you want to be in your
Mhm.
career. But if anything, now I'm like, because I'm still working in cosmetology, and if anything, now I'm like, no, this is my side hustle. Like, this is just what feeds my dream. Like, I don't care. I'm an actor. I'm an actor.
Mhm.
I'm auditioning. That makes me an
Mhm.
actor. So like,
Mhm.
how was cosmetology? How old were you when you went to cosmetology school?
18.
Me
So, it
too.
were you? Oh, I was a mess. All my
Me
hair
too.
fell out.
My hair, I remember once I put bleach on it and then I was just combing it out and it's just like coming out.
Chunks.
Yeah. You're
I
like,
gotta
what are
send you a
you
picture.
doing?
Please put that with the thing. I was the juice Sunny Delight?
Of course.
I was that color.
Oh my God.
My hair was that color.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should never be the
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
and it was just
When
dumb.
but so you went from being like a working child actor to going into cosmetology school. What
Yeah.
was that feeling like? Were you just like, I don't care, I need to make a living? Or did you feel like, oh my gosh, like does this mean it's the end for me? Because I that's me projecting my own shit. Like whenever I start really investing into like a different career besides acting just so I could pay my bills, I am like, "Oh my God, like I'm not an actor anymore." Like it scares me, even though it's not true. It's not true. We all have to pay our bills.
I would agree with you on that. I think I was so traumatized and done that it was no other option for me to do
Mhm.
something else. So I
Mhm.
think I had that kind of for me in a sense. The pain was too great to think about losing my career. I was literally coming to terms. But I'll tell you, girl, I was not happy.
Mhm.
And I tell people, I'm like, yo, cause I know one of my greatest friends, her name is Precious Jackson. She does all my glam. She loves doing makeup. Like, I mean, like, this is her life. And I said, every career is hard, no
Yeah.
matter what you do. The reason how it becomes successful or great or you're satisfied is because it's what you love.
Mhm.
I didn't love it. Like,
Mhm.
staying on my feet all day and blow drying hair, I was like, nah, like I can't.
Yeah.
If one more girl came in with a picture of Beyonce and was like, "Can you make me like this?" I'm like, first of all, she has 3 packs of hair in her hair.
Right. Right, that part.
No.
That
But,
part.
you just have to love it, and I just didn't, but, yeah, I was literally every day, like, I did not think I would ever be here. I swear to you, if you would have talked to me at 18 years old or 21 years old or at 23 years old, I literally I was it was like I mourned that. I literally thought that side died of
Mm.
me. And people would talk about it, and I'd be like, "I don't wanna talk about it."
Yeah.
So, having my son was just kind of like I don't know, I just had the confidence that I was terrified, I'm still terrified. Every time I go to audition I have 2 auditions after this, girl, I am gonna pee myself, I'm so nervous.
Oh, I'm the same way.
Yeah, it never ends. That's
No.
what people are always like, "How do you do this?" And right now, I can't talk about the project that I'm on, but, I'm on a project with very big actors, and I just love that we were able to talk about that, like, it never goes away.
Right.
Every stage, there was moments where they're nervous.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "They're nervous? Like, that's crazy."
Mhm.
They just
Yeah.
learn to do it scared.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That's
it.
all
The
of
only
us.
difference.
We're all in life when, like, you just have to do it anyway. You gotta show up
Mhm.
terrified, scared, nervous,
Mhm.
like, you just have to
Mhm.
keep showing up, but
Mhm.
that's really yeah, I can relate so much to that because yeah, cosmetology was never my passion. It was a way out of high school and it was I don't know what I'm going to do. And I look at all these people who like really loved it and I was like, I just don't
Mhm.
care. I don't care about it at all. Like
Right.
and I tried to make myself do that, and then I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be an actor." Like, I I am an actor. And also, another similarity between us, your parents were in law enforcement. My dad was a fire captain. So I'm
Oh
like
my yeah.
I'm like,
You
we
get
have
it.
yeah, I keep seeing all these, like, little similarities in our
Mhm.
lives.
Mhm.
And were your parents always really supportive of you wanting to do this, or did they just not understand it at all?
They were supportive, but I was the driving force. So I
Mm,
didn't have which, I think there's a moment of it being a setback, seeing it with my son's an actor now. So me seeing it as like because I know
mhm.
what needs to be done and all that stuff because I'm in the industry, I feel like my son has a leg up. I didn't have that. I didn't know a lot of things that I needed to do. I didn't know where to go in my career. I didn't know, you know,
Yeah,
if your manager's being awful to you, get a new manager. Like
right.
I just didn't know. I was doing everything by myself in a sense, not in a sense where my parents, we just didn't know. So
Exactly.
as my mom walks in right
Hi,
now.
mom.
So, I would say, yeah, in that sense, but, I am grateful that they never were like, "Do this or do that," or "Do it,"
Mhm.
they did support me in my dreams, but every story is different, and it's hard either way, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you booked Bosch, were they like, "Oh my gosh, she's joining the family business," in a way?
Oh my god, they were over the moon. I have, like, a side by side on my Instagram, like, me and my mom, and I use them a lot. Like, the way my mom entered the police force as a woman, as a Latina, as a small woman. My mom's only 5 foot. It's
Oh,
very
wow.
different how she yeah, it's only very different how she would approach situations than my
Mhm.
dad, who'd
Mhm.
walk in like a freaking,
Right.
bulldog. My
Right.
mom couldn't do that. So, just my dad really taught me about procedure. That was, like,
Mm.
his biggest thing. When you stop a car, you put your hand on the trunk.
Mhm.
Make sure no one's in there. Look in the back seat. You know what I mean? You never wanna be a large target. You wanna keep that's what he taught me. My mom more taught me, like, "You're gonna get a lot more bees with honey." You know what
Mm.
I mean? So,
Mhm.
a lot of these times when they're flipping out and yelling, they just wanna be heard, you know?
Yeah.
So, I learned a lot, and they were really happy. I mean, just playing them, there was like a surreal moment for me and for them. So I was like, I can knock that off my list. It was accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, with your son, how did your son approach you and be like, I want to be an actor? And what were your feelings when he did that?
Well, he didn't really express that. I mean, I his first print job was when he was 2.
Mm,
I just saw that he loved the camera, and
mm-hmm.
he's me. Literally, you'll probably meet him one day. He is a bundle of energy, talks a mile a minute, says hi to everybody. When he walks in the room, he's like, "Benson's here!" Like, putting on shows, and so, like, that's how I was.
Mm-hmm.
So he was constantly like, when I was doing tapes and stuff, like, I have videos of him just walking in front of the camera, and then he wants to do the thing with me. So I
Yeah.
just was like, "Let me foster that."
Yeah.
What he likes to do. So the minute the camera's on him, he's, posing, doing dance moves. So I started him in that. And but my son is a little bit different in a sense, like me, unless I had an arm coming off, I was there. Like that's how much I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
He's so confident in himself that he's like thinks he books everything. And one of his biggest arguments, he's like, "Mom, why do I have to audition? Like, just tell him I'll do the job." I'm like,
That's
"Me
so
too.
funny. You're like, same,
Me
babe.
too." That's how he is. So when he does certain jobs, like if he does like 2, 3 in a row, he's like, "Mom, you know what? Tell my manager I need a break. I'll
That
let
is
him know."
so funny.
I'm like, so I call him like the boss wants a break. And then she's like, "All right, let me know when he's back." So that's how I kind of approach it with him. I
Yeah.
kind of literally everything he makes is just going to his college fund and however
Mm-hmm.
long it lasts, or if it doesn't last, I don't it doesn't bother me. It's literally just like if he's having fun and he's making money for his college, why not?
Yeah. Do you feel like super protective of him going into
Very.
this? Yeah, I could imagine.
Especially, like, I do appreciate we haven't booked something together because it's kinda hard for me to be, like, mom and then actor,
Mm-hmm.
because when I'm in actor mode, like, I'm trying to get to know everybody. When I'm in mom mode, my hat's down, no makeup on, and I'm, like, watching him and making sure
Mm-hmm.
he's okay. And, of course, they have teachers on set, and everybody has been very lovely with a lot of the sets. But, I know certain things, so a lot of the times, I will go up to the director myself and be like, "What do you need from him?"
Right.
All right, because I know my kid, and I'm also
Mm-hmm.
in the industry, so I'd be like, "All right, if you need him to jump around and blah, 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 you got about 15 and a half minutes."
Yeah.
So I wouldn't waste that in rehearsal,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
'Cause and then he needs a snack and go potty beforehand, so
Oh
I
my
try to
gosh.
and most directors are very, very, thankful for that. Like, "Oh, thank you so much," because they don't know, they're just trying to get the shot, and if I can help them in any way, so that's what I tend to do. I tend to be really close to director and just ask them what they need and make sure he gets his breaks and, um, yeah, I'm a hawk, but very nice hawk. I'm not like a sta anybody will tell you I am not a stage mom. I'm very cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally been on sets before where like I walked into a dressing room and the mom was like hand feeding her 9-year-old child.
No.
And I was like, oh, that's what I'm walking into right now. Great.
Oh, no.
But then it's like you watch, the most recent documentary that completely is so disturbing.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, can you ever be too protective? I don't know. So, I
I mean, I
mean,
think the biggest thing, it's like in that situation or in life, I think, what I appreciate about my son has really good natural instincts.
mhm,
Like, for example, if he sees me upset, growing up in a Hispanic household, it was very frowned upon, like, nobody cried, you didn't see emotion, especially if you're a man, like, you didn't show that, to show that you're
right.
strong. I never saw my mom cry or anything like that. I make it a point to, like, if he sees me upset, I say, "Yeah, I'm crying," because I want him to trust what he's seeing is
Mhm,
right, and then
mhm.
he can watch me pick myself back up, which I think is the better lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful.
So, on set, I see him, he has great instincts, and so I always go up to him and I reassure him, "Yes, what you are seeing correct. Yeah, that person didn't say something that's very nice, but, we
Mhm.
just ignore them, but you did see it correctly." So, I
Yeah.
think you know what I mean? Because I feel like for our generation, we were, "Well, that's not what you're seeing." "Oh, no, I'm fine. That's what I'm fine," and that
Mhm,
confuses us.
mhm.
It really does, so I
Yeah,
think
and then we don't trust our instincts as we get older, trust our intuition because we were told like, "Oh, that was just normal. That's what, men do." Like, "Oh,
right.
okay."
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's so amazing that you have that relationship with your son and also like I mean, like you said, like my parents, they didn't know anything about the industry whatsoever at all. And so to be able and like neither did yours. So to be able to like share the knowledge and also like care for this little being and nurture their like artistry, like that is such a gift.
Right, right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like I'm looking at it as a plus in a sense of like, I'm not like, oh, riding on his career because I have my own, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to foster what he likes, so,
Right.
who knows? He right now he wants to be an actor, scientist, YouTuber slash soccer player.
Me too.
Right? And I'm like, sure. So we're doing soccer. He's in science coding class.
So funny. How old is he?
7.
I mean, it's like your little built-in buddy and your own scene partner. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, 100%. Every time I'm doing tapes here, he's always like, "And action."
That is
Like, oh
amazing.
my God, I have a great story for you.
Yeah.
So this last project I'm on right now, I did a live audition, right? And those are like the scariest. I swear. You got to make sure
Oh
like
my
you're
God, are those back?
back, girl. And they literally
I'll
get me like I'm
throw
dying
up.
because my internet's gonna go out. Like, am I positioning right? Where am I supposed to look? It's awful. So
Yeah.
I'm in the audition and I have my son. My son knows not to come out because we're doing auditions. He comes running out in the middle of my audition in a panic. And he's like, Mom, it's an emergency. And I'm like, just a second. I'm like, yes, honey. And he's like, a drawer fell. And I'm like,
Oh
are
my
you
God.
hurt? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I'll help you in a minute, okay?
Yeah.
Then I turned around and like jumped right back into the scene,
Mm-hmm.
like just said my next line. And when I got to set, because I got the job, the showrunner was like, that was the moment where
Oh,
you were like, that's the girl. Because they were like, they could not believe that there was literally chaos going around. And I was just like, boom. And
good for you.
so he got me the job.
Yeah.
So kudos to him.
Yeah.
But I would say that being that way comes from theater.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to act, you want some acting chops, go to theater because there is no take two. You don't
Right.
have a choice but to jump back in.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you say was the first time you saw yourself in a character or you saw yourself represented on screen?
I would have to say it's as early as the first time I saw Selena.
Mm,
I mean, it came out earlier than when I think I was just born when it came out, but I think my earliest remember I saw it, earliest memory I saw it,
I
I
think
would say
we're the
5
same
or 6,
age. So I want to say, wait,
like 5 or 6, right?
are you 91 or 92?
I'm 92.
Okay, I'm 91. So I don't know. We're probably like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, because it came out in 92, no? Or 93? I don't know.
I can't do
Anyways,
math for.
I saw it and I think that was the first time I was like, wow, she looks like me.
Mm.
And I was like, and I would like copy the scenes. Like I literally remember doing that.
Also, when I was that young, you couldn't tell me that that wasn't Selena. I thought my
I
whole
didn't
life,
know.
I thought my whole life
I
that that was Selena.
When I found out that Selena died
Oh, you were like, what?
at like 11, I literally thought Jennifer Lopez was Selena until like 11 years old. And I was like, what a minute,
Same.
she died. And they were like,
Same.
no, that's not her.
Yeah.
It's a whole different person. And then I saw the real Selena. I was like, oh, no idea. Not to say anything like they're both literally amazing, but I just didn't. That's how good she was.
Absolutely. I mean, she should have gotten an Oscar for Selena, for sure. I mean, that movie, we saw that movie so many times when we were little, and like,
Oh my God.
I hated that woman. The one who played Yolanda, I hated her. I thought she was the real person for so long. And I was like, I was
don't think she ever
terrified
got
of
a
her.
job since.
She traumatized a generation. Okay.
Yeah, she was such a
She's
good
listening to this. Like, I hate you guys so much.
and you know what? Kudos to her because she was so good.
I honestly, like, you couldn't tell me that that was not like a documentary. I thought it was actually them. You also have a lot of mannerisms of Jennifer Lopez. I'm
Do
sure you
I?
get, yeah, the way you
No,
talk. You don't get told that.
I get told that we look similar.
I mean, I see all of it, like the way you, like your cadence and the way you speak. I mean,
Mm,
speaking of, I mean, Selena was the first time you saw yourself in a character, and then you just did a movie with Jennifer Lopez. So talk about that.
God, I literally almost died. Like almost, I couldn't believe that I was in the same room as her, and I can't. Bless you.
Bless you, Mom.
Yeah, I can't say enough about her. She was so nice to me, so kind to me, and also welcoming. And I mean, you as an actor would know. There's no room for improv or our thoughts sometimes. Sometimes they have a way they want their script and that's it.
Yeah.
There were so many times where she stopped her and Dave, which is the director, and was like, "What do you guys think?" Or "How would you say this?" Or "What were you thinking?" And I'd be like,
Mm.
"What? Like this is a collaborative? Like that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
I'm collaborating with J-Lo. What?"
You're like, who are you talking to?
Yeah, I was like,
Who's behind
what?
me? Yeah.
I was literally like, pardon me, what? There was the first day on set, we had one scene where I didn't even know I was in. They changed it last minute and they were like, "We
Mhm.
need you to set right now. We want you to do something with Jennifer." And I'm like, "Okay." So I get there and they were like, "All right, she's gonna come out and you're gonna grab her and hug her and like start telling her like, oh, whatever, fuck Libras and look at you, wear your shoes and da da da." And I have to grab her. And so I'm going like this. I ran up to her and I'm like, you know,
Like, am I hurting you? I'm so sorry. Please don't hurt me.
she literally like cut and was like, "Grab me." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah.
I was
Like, yeah.
terrified. I was going to hurt her.
Yeah. You're like, okay, Selena, no problem.
I know, literally. So I can't say enough about it. It was a dream come true for me. And I tell everybody I was literally like Jennifer Lopez for 3 years for Halloween.
That is so funny.
I'm Real Video, Jennifer the Block. Like I get all of them.
Where was I yesterday? They were playing the original I'm Real. Oh, at the mall. I think it was like Forever 21 because I still
Oh my
shop there.
God. So I'm like, okay, knock that off my list. Another accomplishment,
Right.
right?
How do you deal with those nerves? Like, I'm sure that you were very nervous going into that. And also, like, I think that we have expectations of how things are going to go and whether they're good or bad. So, how do you hang up your expectations and just be in that moment?
I would have to go back to one of my amazing acting coaches. His name is Michael Silver. Guys, look him up. He's an amazing actor and coach. And if what he calls it, which is the script or whatever you guys want to call it, story, script, in the scene. If you're in the scene, if you're in the story, you don't have time to be nervous. So
Mm-hmm.
like the minute you feel nerves, it's like, what am I doing? Where am I going? What are they feeling? What's going on in the scene? Like just that's literally what I do. Like when I'm literally like, I can't breathe, I feel the nerves, I'm like flushed, I'm sweating. I'm like, let's say I'm in the scene with Jen. Like, what is she doing? What am I doing? Am I supposed to be her friend? Like, jump in.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be your saving grace every time. Just
Yeah.
if you can't remember a line, what am I doing? What I'm saying, you'll find the line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? A lot of times, line and jump right back into it. Like a lot of actors, I would say this, me working consistently now on set, losing a line is not a big deal, guys.
Yeah.
They think the world is over. I promise you, I've seen the biggest actors be like, line, and then go right back into it. You're
Right.
human. And no one really, I mean, unless you have a complete and utter meltdown, which I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
you lose a line and then you keep losing lines and you keep, and then you have like the world's over. Then they're like, what the hell's going on? Like,
Yeah.
where's this actor? But if you lose a line or whatever and you jump right back in, it's no biggie. And it doesn't mean that you're any less of an actor. Camera guy drops a camera sometimes or gets the wrong angle or director says the wrong thing. Like we all make mistakes, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's very forgiving.
Yeah, and it's a matter of also believing you're worthy to be there. Like
Mm,
to boost your, your confidence. You have to be confident and like you are worthy to be there. They chose you to be there. You know what you're
mhm,
doing. So just
mhm,
relax and enjoy it and have fun. Like be that little
mhm,
kid again that's just
mhm,
there to have fun.
mhm.
Is there a character that you channel in your hard times? When you're like, I gotta tap into somebody today. Or like if you can't find something in a scene, you're like, what TV show do I watch? What character do I watch that this reminds me of that I could tap into?
Mm. That I've played before or like just a character I like?
No, just a character that you like. Like I know for me, like I'll be like, okay, well, I'm obsessed with Gilmore Girls and Friends. So it's like, what would Lorelai Gilmore do? What would Rachel Green do? Like I have to act as if they would because sometimes like I'm not strong enough, but like they're who I look up to, like these
Yeah.
powerful women who are independent but also so graceful. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to figure out like how would they handle this situation and
I
would
would
they
have
be
to say
confident?
Viola Davis and How to Get Away with Murder.
Mm.
Like
Mhm.
100, and I mean every role that she gets a lot of kudos and she has been recognized, but like I saw a interview with her not too long ago and she's like, I'm still considered like the Black Meryl Streep. And it's just crazy to me that like that's even a name for her because
Right.
every role I've ever seen her do. I'm like, you can't tell me. For me to like forget that she's Viola Davis
Mhm.
in role still at this
Mhm.
point in her life. So yeah, when I'm like little shaken, I'm like, she had nothing for her. Even if I don't know if anybody's read her book, but like she had a lot of things against her, whether that be her childhood, whether that be the struggles that she went to as adult or in the acting field. And nobody was going to tell her that she wasn't going to be an actor, which is
Right.
crazy. Like she had that just unshaken confidence in that sense. So yeah,
Mm.
I think of
I
her.
love that.
Sure.
You're a Shonda Rhimes girl, huh?
Oh yeah, all of it. Bridgerton, all the way. Working on my English accent right now.
Oh my
They have
gosh.
no Latinas. I'm ready. Call me Shonda.
That
I
is
did do Station 19, so maybe I'm in her,
nice.
universe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think so. I feel like I have my friends who have all done like Grays have all ended up on another Shonda Rhimes show at some point. So I think did you watch Grays?
I have here and there, but I wasn't a Grey's like junkie, like how some people are like, I've seen every episode or whatever, like big fan.
What about Scandal though?
All day watched everything.
Because
Gotta
that
go with Murder,
scene.
Scandal,
Yes.
Station 19, my jam.
Scandal, I literally there was a hot second I was always channeling Olivia Pope where I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like I gotta handle it. It's handled. I gotta handle it. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
to be what would Olivia Pope do? And
Uh-huh.
literally, have you
Mm-hmm.
seen Oppenheimer?
I haven't seen it yet. I
I
know. I'm
I
terrible.
just watched it for the first time. I took notes. It's nothing I would typically watch. It's
Mm,
not up my alley. But Fitz is in it. And
mm.
so I kept
Oh
being
yeah.
like, I was like, Fitz, what are you doing here? And then they were all on trial. And I was like, if Olivia Pope was here, this would have been fucking over 2 hours ago.
Right,
Like
right. And her hair would have been popping.
popping in her coats. And when she gets that little snarl in her face, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
get him, get him, get him.
Right,
And I was like,
exactly.
this whole movie is missing Olivia Pope or Annalise. Like for
Annalise!
sure.
Oh my God, Annalise.
For
Oh,
sure.
I love it. I mean, yeah, I would love to play a powerhouse role like that. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's probably for me. Everyone, have asked me in the past, like, oh, what kind of roles would you like, or where do you see yourself in your career? I'm like, anything that's completely different from the last one. I
Yeah,
literally do not want to be put in a box. I want to play everything because I feel like the doors that I open are only going to open more doors for somebody behind me that looks like me, right?
right. Right.
So I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah.
Country girl, on Yellowstone. Let's do it.
Which is so funny because it's like you went from, but I guess it kind of ties through if you are talking about like powerful women because your shows that you picked were Bridgerton, Yellowstone, and Tulsa King, which I'm like, those are Bridgerton to Yellowstone. It's a little different.
I know it's so true. You know what it is? I just love I all three of those shows are just such good actors. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the acting, the storyline, and I just love good shows like that. Maybe they're not strong women leads.
Yeah.
The daughter in Yellowstone, she's badass. Have you seen it?
I'm too scared of those shows.
Oh my
Like
God.
I am such a baby. Like I literally will have like there are certain Friends episodes I can't watch because it will give me nightmares. And people are like, Brittany, are you kidding? And I'm like, no, no. And then
Oh
sure enough,
God.
at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm awake.
Oh my
But
God.
I am such a baby. And so I've seen clips of Yellowstone. I'm like, oh, this is like way too intense. Like even when I watched Oppenheimer, I was like sweating and my heart was pounding. I was like, I haven't taken a breath in 20 minutes. Like it's like the music alone was like giving me so much
That
anxiety.
is
So
hilarious.
I'm just a baby.
Look at my shirt, girl. You can read it for the people who are
True
listening.
crime glass of wine in bed by 9. That is
I
so
literally
funny.
fall asleep to ID channel.
How does that not give you nightmares?
I don't know. I don't know. It's so interesting. And the guy usually talking has like a calm voice.
Oh my God.
My boyfriend's like, you're nuts. And I'm like, there's a lot of people like me. Okay.
It's crazy. There is, but I'm like, I fall asleep watching Friends. Like, I need to hear a laugh track. I need to hear something being resolved. I don't want to hear an open-ended court case because then in my sleep, I'm going to be trying to solve it and like freaking out. I need solutions all
No
the
wonder why I
time.
can't sleep at night.
Truly. I mean, like, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
So that's it. Like when your mental health gets shaky and you're having a bad day and you just need to feel like more connected to yourself, what are you turning on?
For me, I'm such an actor that I'll pick apart shows.
Mhm.
So if I find a good ensemble, that's why I named those shows that like
Mhm.
everybody's really good actor and I can like lose it.
Mhm.
Boom, I'm in. Or I completely shut out the acting world and I watch like stupid reality television. Like
Yeah,
love it. I'm like, I don't like drama in my life. I like to watch drama on TV.
that's so
So
funny.
like I watch the weirdest like I'm a TLC girl. I'm a 90 Day Fiance girl. I know all the shows. I'm like, I love it all. Like literally, I got my boyfriend to start watching 90 Day Fiance. He's like, "Do we have to watch this?" And then all of a sudden, he's like asking questions about it, or
Oh,
Love
of
is
course. I have so many friends who watch these shows and like I'm like, what am I doing wrong in life? Like, well, how are these people? They're making money and they're all over the place. I'm like, what is going on? But I can't. There's one show. Do you watch Bravo?
Yeah,
I only watch Summer House. That's the only Bravo show
never
that
seen
I
that one.
watch. Of
It's a
course.
reality.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm like, I feel like it's the one that's like the most under the radar. And
mm.
even after I watched that show, I'm like, I'm in a like these people are annoying me. Like they're also, why am I watching this? But I'm like, it's like watching your Sims come to life almost. Like, did you ever play Sims? You're like, this is what my Sims characters would do.
Yeah,
And they all piss you off the entire time
yeah.
because they're not
But
doing
you
what you
can't stop
want.
watching the train
Yeah.
wreck.
Yeah. Exactly. When it comes to mental health and the industry, what do you find helps keep you the most grounded when it comes to disappointments or setbacks or, you know, just I mean this job is hard. I mean, it just is. It's
Yeah.
amazing, but it's also hard and we also don't have a whole lot of stability when we go, it's like, oh, amazing. I booked this job and this job is just this job. And then hopefully I'll book another one, but you just don't know. So, how do you maintain your mental health through all of that and your mindset?
You know what, girl? I'm gonna be completely transparent. I still have my moments, and those
Mhm.
moments, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that they maybe never go away, but I do think that they're definitely less,
Mhm.
maybe less intense or whatever, because I know I've been through this before and I know, okay, this is what's gonna get me back up. So a lot of the times, one or two projects kind of get to me sometimes and I get obsessive about it. And then I'm like, I haven't heard anything, haven't heard anything. But most of the time, I really like to,
Yeah.
once my audition's done, I mean, I even sometimes rip up my sides and I'm like, done.
Mhm.
Comes back, it comes back, but I'm done because I will get crazy. I will be that actor that will email my agent, like, "Can you check in?" Like,
Mhm.
they know your information. If they like you, they'll call you. You know what I mean?
It's like dating. It's fucking
It's
horrible.
horrible. So that happens. So I know to do that. I try to keep really busy because
Yeah.
the busier I am, like, especially when I really want something, and try not to talk about it or whatever. And I try to treat the audition like it's the job.
Mhm.
So I did it. I did the work.
Yeah.
All I got. So, um, I try to do that. I also try what's helpful for me, what I really felt like I was starting to make a lot of traction is I kept track. So if I didn't book a job all year, right?
Mhm.
That's hard, because then you're like, I'm not moving forward. I didn't book any jobs, but I would start logging in my auditions or
Mhm.
my classes, or let's say, I don't know if they still do it, but a couple years ago they used to do like casting director workshops.
Yeah.
I would start logging. I met this casting director, and I would put the date, what they saw me for, or what shows they work on, the feedback they gave me, and then I would see I met this casting director in May, and in September they called me in, and then I
Mm.
would count my callbacks, or I count my like good feedback, and at the end of the year that would be my accomplishment. It's like I got 7 callbacks, or I got 1 callback, or I got, that was better than last year, or I
Mm.
got this type of feedback, and I switched gears and I tried this, and or I met 20 casting directors, which is
Yeah.
so different than meeting no casting directors. So it helps you. I felt like helping my mental health because I'm like, I am moving forward in my career.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. Nobody has ever said that before. I've never heard of anybody like making a log like that. And it's so important to one celebrate your small victories, but also realizing that like you a win is a win, and that patience pays off, because you went in May and they called you in September. Like we think things should just happen right then and there instead of
Mhm.
like, but and it's also a matter of focusing on what you can control, because we can't control anything else outside of us. And like,
Mhm.
when we're sitting there messaging our manager or agent, like, have you heard from them? Did they call? Did they this? Where's my contract? Where's this?
Right.
That's all out of our control. But
Right.
like learning from what we did and, you know, nurturing those relationships, we can control that and it will ultimately pay off for us.
Right. Right. My dad always says this saying. He's like, acting is like the DMV. Take a ticket and get in line. Eventually they'll call your name, but if you get out of line, they ain't calling your
Mhm.
name. They're moving on to
Exactly.
the next one. So I think that's what he always tells me. Like every time I start getting down on myself, he's like, "Don't get out of line. Don't you get out of line."
That's
I'm like,
so
"Oh
funny.
God, you're so annoying. I'll call you
Yeah.
back."
That's so funny. My therapist, like, and to go back to the cosmetology thing, it was like I would feel like when I would start really putting energy into that and like I'm not auditioning and I'm not, booking at this, and I'm like, I feel like I failed. And she'd be like, "Did you give up?" I'm like, "No." "Well, then you haven't failed yet." And it's like that is something too. Like I truly believe that in this business, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And like so many
Mhm.
people give up right when they're just like, they couldn't take that one more no. And
Mhm.
I think,
I think those are the two common things. They give up, or they're so consumed with being, with the hardships and the disappointments that they're
mhm,
like not actively doing the things like, oh my God, I haven't got an audition in forever. And, but my agent's telling me to get has been telling me to get headshots for a year. And
right.
you would have shortened that time if you jumped right on, you know what I mean? So I always tell, like, when a lot of actors ask for advice, I'm like, make sure all your ducks are in a row and then you
Mhm,
wait.
right,
And then readjust, and then you wait. Because, 4 months from now, you might figure out something else. This is what people do in their companies.
right.
Acting's the same thing. This is your company, right? This is you're representing yourself. People do that all the time. They're always readjusting. They're always trying to figure out how to get further ahead, or what can they do, or how can they market this differently.
Mhm,
So, and I also another thing that I would find is I would start seeing repetitive cast directors. So I would see the same cast director bring me in 5 times. So I would like star them as like they're my fan.
mhm,
And I would hear from many customers, they're like, "If we bring you in multiple times to our office, we like you and we're trying to find something for you."
mhm.
That's a win.
Yeah. Now, what would you say is the best piece of advice that somebody's given you in this business, or for your mental health, that you take with you every day?
Be you, because everyone else is taken. Oh, forever. I'm telling you. I was like the chameleon. Up until I'm telling you, my son was born, I would have to say. I was literally the everybody. I was
Yeah.
everybody for everybody. "Oh, I can
Yeah.
do that. Oh, yeah, I can pick you up at the airport. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, I know how to drive a motorcycle. Yeah." Like,
Yeah.
because I just wasn't comfortable with myself.
Mm.
And the minute that happens, it's like it's crazy how, whatever anybody believes in, God, universe, or whatever, starts pivoting towards what you really want. And it's really you lying to yourself. "No, I don't wanna go pick up somebody at the airport at 2 o'clock in the morning," or, "No, I
Right.
don't wanna take," there's been roles recently where they're big roles, but, for me and my mission and, like, opening the doors and seeing just my prerogative. I don't wanna do a lot of risque roles because I feel like that may box me. Just
Mhm.
it's my opinion. So, I just had to, even though it's a great opportunity, I have to stand on that and say no, and you find so much confidence and immediately something else comes.
Yeah.
So, I always tell people, I'm like, "Figure out what that is, and I promise you no one's gonna be mad at you.
Mhm.
And if they
Mhm.
are mad at you, you have the wrong people around you."
Yeah. It's so true. Like the second you just be and connect with yourself is when the right things find you and fall into place. And then you go,
Mhm.
what was I doing? Like
Mhm.
that's why I was so tired all the time. That's why I was irritable all the time. That's why I was like just floating around with no sense of self or purpose, because you were
Yeah.
doing it for so many other people instead of being like, well, what does Brittany want? What does Danielle want? Like, so I mean, your son sounds like an incredible gift. I mean, He is, but like to have to learn those lessons and to share what you guys share, it's just really beautiful.
That kid has no problem saying no thank you. Like, quick, quick. I've been trying to go because I like kid movies too, so I'm trying to go see Kung Fu Panda. And he's like, "No, I don't wanna go." And I'm like, "But why?" And he's like, "'Cause every time we go to the movies, when we come out, it's dark and I have to get ready for bed." And I'm like,
That's so
"Alright,
funny.
we'll go earlier." And he's like, "No, thank you." And
Can
I'm
I
like,
can I tell you something? When I tell you I'm a baby, I thought Kung Fu Panda was way too dark. I saw it with my nephew and I was like, this is so dark and like I don't like it. Like I was like, when are they gonna sing a song? Like
all Disney and all that's kind of movies, they
I
all are
know.
dark, if you
I
really think
know.
about it.
I'm like, oh my God, this is like so messed up. So in your free time, what are you doing? What are you doing to wind down from all of it? Without TV, like what are things that you really just enjoy doing to connect you to yourself?
I'm a beauty girl, so I love doing makeup on myself, not anybody else.
Well, I was gonna
Yeah.
say though, like I saw you with a full face of makeup. I gotta say, like you look stunning right now. Like you
Oh,
don't have a stitch of makeup on, and I've been looking at your skin, and I'm like, well, how do I get that? Like your
oh
skin
my
looks incredible.
thank you so much. Um, that's all congrats my mom, that's my mom right there. My mom literally wears nothing and looks amazing all the time and looks like 20 years younger than what she is. It's thank God. But yeah, I love doing like little beauty care stuff on myself, playing with my kid. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
telling you, look, doing things in the eyes of a child is so much fun. Like
Yeah.
Christmas is so much fun and you know what I mean? I would say that. I'm also a nerd, so this is like disclosure, guys, only you guys got the exclusive. I love all like Harry Potter and like I love Pokemon and I love like playing video games and like sometimes I will just like escape and like read a book about like go back to my Harry Potter books and like
I
be a
love that.
I know
I mean,
nobody
honestly,
knows
like
this.
I don't know if this is like a 12-year-old thing to do or like a 60-year-old thing to do because it's a little bit of both. But like last night, I played Candy Crush for an hour while listening to Taylor Swift, and I was like, I'm so happy.
The littlest things. Oh my God, me too. That's so crazy. Like
Yeah.
sitting there painting your toes, just like
Yeah, just being I'm like, I'm having my own little slumber party with myself. I get to play music, play games, paint my nails, and like put a face mask on. And I'm like, oh, this is the stuff we'd be like, Mom, can we do this on Friday night? And now I'm like, no, this is my life.
no, and I think that's what a lot of people, especially I would say like most people going through their 20s, it's when you're finding yourself and it's a little rough. I feel like 30s are so much better because then you
Hmm.
kind of come back to kind of being a child in a sense. Like it's okay. And those are the things that you do to unwind because life is hard enough. It's too hard to be serious all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, Danielle, this was so fun. I'm so happy we got to see each other again and that we've actually met in person. It's funny because now I've met you and Brandon and I think Ashley's going to come on.
Mm.
So it's been fun and like that's really amazing too that you guys all like became good friends after
We're
filming.
besties. Yeah. And
I
it's
love
hilarious.
that.
We have a great time because we're literally completely different personalities. We're completely different people, and it's so funny us 3 together because it's oh my god, it's always like a freaking show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always like Brandon and Ashley, like, having a discussion, and then I'm in between like, "Wait, wait, wait." Yeah.
Well, congratulations on Chicago Med and on everything. Also, This Is Us. I am just jealous you got to hang out with Mandy Moore because, God, I love Mandy Moore so
And
much.
her singing a song, but, like, she's literally okay, A Walk to Remember,
I'll
that is her,
always remember.
but that's her. Like,
Oh,
her personality in that movie is actually her in real life. She's
really?
so sweet and quiet that I was like, "If I'm too loud, I might hurt her ears." So I was like, I was like, "I'm just not gonna talk."
That is
So there
so
was a
funny.
long time that we just didn't talk to each other, and then finally, I found out that she just had a child when I was
Mm,
there, and I was like, "I have a kid," and then we started talking.
that's so funny. You're like, pick me. I have a child. Sir, I have a child. That is so funny. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like her acting career I loved, but her music career, which like, she's not the world's biggest selling artist. Some of my favorite albums and songs of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I love Mandy Moore's music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was one of the original pop girlies, and let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you, I love it. I love it when they play her at Ralph's. I love it when they play her at CVS. And I'm like on my Spotify, it's like 90% Mandy Moore. I swear. It's amazing.
Oh my God. She's lovely. So I didn't burst, you like you talk to people that met your idols or whatever, and then you're
Hmm.
like, she's horrible. No, she's amazing. You're totally good.
I love that.
Not gonna burst your bubble.
Yeah, she seems pretty incredible. Well,
Mhm.
I'm really happy that you're having these experiences and that you've come back to yourself and honoring yourself and
Thank
just being you, and it's paying off. And
you.
I feel very inspired by you. So thank you.
Yeah. And now we could be friends.
I
Because we met
know.
twice now, so that means we have to be friends.
I know, exactly. Third time's a charm. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Have the best day. Thank you so
You
much.
too.
Bye.
Bye.